So guys, we want to draft a half scale basic bodice pattern. So the first thing you need to do is to draw a straight line at the top. It will serve as your starting line. Okay. Again, place your tape from that line, then come down by your waistline. So the meaning of half scale body is from your shoulder to your waistline. Okay. So from my shoulder to my waistline is 15 inches. I marked 15 inches, then I made a straight line with it without adding allowance. All right. So once I through with that, I'll also go ahead and draw a straight line here because you can see my paper is not too straight. So once I through with that, come down by your bust point and under bust, then go ahead and mark. After making a straight line, also label as your bust point, under bust, and waistline. So divide your shoulder by 2 without adding any allowance. Then come down by your armhole depth. Mine is 7.5. So how you can get this is to divide your bust measurement by 6. Whatever you get, add extra 1.5 into it. With that, you get your normal armhole depth. All right. So once I'm through with that, I'll just make a straight line across. It will also serve as your chest line. Okay. So I'll label mine as the chest line and label the upper part as the shoulder line. After doing that, place your tape again, then mark 3 inches for your neck width, come down by 3 inch again for your neck depth. Also mark 1 inch for your shoulder slope. Go ahead and connect your shoulder slope this way. Then divide on the armhole side. You're going to divide what you have left. Mark the midpoint. From there, you come inside by half an inch. On the chest line, mark quarter of your bust measurement. That is dividing your bust measurement by 4. Then use your cover to connect the 3 dots you have, just like this. Okay. Then also curve your neckline. Just make your round neckline like this. You curve it this way. Once you're through with that, next you want to do is to divide your bust span. So your bust span means nipple to nipple. Okay, mine is 7 inch. I'll divide it by 2 and I'll have 3.5. This 3.5, I'll mark it on the bust point, mark it on the waistline. Okay, I'll mark it on the waistline, then I'll use my ruler to connect it. Okay, so I'll just make a straight line here because I noticed the paper is not straight at this point. So after marking the nipple by nipple to nipple, do the same thing for the underbust. Then use your stretch ruler to connect from the chest line to the waistline. So we want to take out our that intake. So on the waistline, you have to take out half an inch on both sides. Then from the bust point, above the bust point, go ahead and connect it this way. Okay, just like I did here. So after connecting, now go ahead and mark quarter of your bust measurement, then mark quarter of your waistline. What this means is you should divide your bust measurement by 4, mark it on the waistline, divide it by 4, and also mark. All right. So after connecting those points here, you can see what I have here. Next you want to do is to add your allowance. Okay, you can go ahead and add your allowance when drafting this, or when transferring to your actual fabric you can add your seam allowance. So on the bust line, add 2 inches for your seam allowance. On the waistline, you will add 2 inches for your allowance, then also replace the dart. Replace your dart of 1 inch intake. This 1 inch intake on both sides, that's half of an inch. Go ahead and replace it on the waistline. So I'll just go ahead and cut this out. All right. For me, I did not add any allowance, but when cutting yours, you can add your allowance. Okay. So after cutting, I'll label as the front. All right. So after labeling, next thing I want to do now is to trim out this side. I forgot to do this. I just remembered it, so I'll just trim it out. Okay, so I'll have a straight piece. All right. So now I'll keep this aside, then I'll work on the back piece. This is the back piece. So the same thing I did at the front, from the shoulder to the waistline. Mine is 15 inches. Do the same thing on yours. Okay. So after that, also leave 1 inch, mark 1 inch for your zip allowance. I already did that and I labeled as the zipper allowance. So 3 inches is for the neck width, and I came down by 2 inches for the neck depth. This is for the back. It will have a high neck line. So guys, you can see I came down by 7.5 inch for the armhole depth, also make my cuff plus the shoulder slope. Then on the waistline, I took out half an inch on both sides, just like we did on the front piece. Okay. And I already told you the half inch I took out on the waistline is for the dart intake. Okay. So your normal dart intake should be around half an inch. Okay. So after doing that, now I will include my basic measurement, which is the bust and waistline. Okay, which is the bust and the waist measurement. Divide it by 4, mark it, then also connect the point. I connected mine, then I want to trim it out. I already did. So if you want to add your allowance, you can go ahead and do that. Okay. So coming to this zip allowance side, we want to avoid a zip bulge. There's something called zip bulge. Like after fixing or attaching your zip at the back, you will have bulgy zip at the back of your dress. So you want to avoid that. So what I'm going to do here is to come up by 1 inch from the zip allowance side. Then I placed my ruler like this. Then I'll go ahead and connect it from there to that end. Okay. So once you do that, you will avoid the zip bulge. So this is what normally works for me. This is what works for me a lot. Okay, we have two different patterns of doing this, but I usually make use of this pattern because it works for me a lot. So if you're using this my particular pattern of avoiding a zip bulge, ensure you are attaching it to your skirt waistline. But if you're not attaching to your skirt waistline, you're just making it for crop top, then use the other second pattern. Okay, so on the waistline of the other second pattern, you will come inside by half an inch, connect it somewhere around the neckline, go ahead and cut it out. Okay, so if you don't understand what I'm saying, you can go ahead and watch my video on how to eliminate a zipper bulge. So I have two different ways of eliminating a zipper bulge on that same video. So go ahead and watch so you learn. Okay. I also have another video on how to draft and cut your full basic body blog. Okay. So I will also be linking it on the description box of this video. So you go ahead and check it out. So at the front, if you want to add a bust dart to it, come down by 2 inches from the bust point, connect it to the bust point as well, just like you see me doing here. Place your tape from the bust point line on the side, then come down by 2 inch. Also go ahead and connect it back to the bust point line, just like you see me doing here. So after that, you can cut it out. Okay, then you tape it. Okay, there's a way to do this. So go ahead and watch this tutorial I told you guys I have. It's a full basic bodies blog. In that video, I did everything and I taught everything on the front piece and on the back piece, difference between your back to the front piece and difference between your front to the back piece. Okay, it's a beginners friendly and also be leaving all the links in the description box of this video. So guys, you have come to the end of today's tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Okay, bye.